Personally, I think movie trailers are done. In no world now do they ever convince me to watch something. What convinces me to watch something is seeing about 30 clips pop up on TikTok. I'm like, that looks cool. Then I go and check it out. The trust that it builds, you can already get a guarantee that it is probably something that you're going to enjoy and worth committing to, especially if it is like a 6-season long show. My friend and I had a little discussion a little while ago about whether soft power is real, whether soft power actually exists. Because a lot of people will claim, especially within the geopolitical arena, that it does, that certain countries have soft power. But we ended up agreeing that we disagree with that sentiment, that you're not just going to give something from one country to another out of the kindness of your heart. It's either because they are wielding a bigger stick or you are hoping to get something in return. The only exception to that might be things like personal choice about, labor mobility. Okay, I've seen Hollywood, portray the US in this beautiful light for years and years and years. I'm choosing where I want to work. Maybe I want to go there because New York looks so beautiful. Because a lot of people argue with, especially a lot of the US's recent conflicts, that they've lost a lot of their soft power, but argue that soft power never existed in the first place because it's kind of a false concept that people have created, except in the example provided, but I'd love to hear if there's any other examples that I've completely missed. Additionally, chatting to my housemates here, they're going up to Edinburgh partially because they saw a TikTok of it and it looked lovely. And I've done that before. I've seen so many locations. I'm like, this looks cool. I want to go and see it, which is another form of soft power. But I think for governments or organizations or people to take advantage of it, they also have to let go of the control they have over the image of a place. If you looked at a lot of companies and organizations before, they had such a stranglehold over the image of their business. And now they hand off their social medias to just any Gen Z intern, partially because they can underpay them, and partially because you have to. The only control you have over your image now is trying to guide it by putting out bits and pieces of information, and the audience will interpret that as they will. But you will never be able to control exactly how people view and see it. Like when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out last year, people didn't go and see it because of this massive campaign that the industry had put together. People went and saw it because the community had put together all of these memes, all of these mini trailers that you saw over and over, which turned into word of mouth communication between you and your friends and became a trend in itself. But that could not have been planned or orchestrated by any of those organizations, partially because it would have been way too expensive. Just jumping right in here to ask, what is a TV show or movie you have watched purely because you've seen clips of it pop up on social media? I'd love to hear it down below. Right, back to the video. But this doesn't always wield positive outcomes, obviously. Colin and Samir, creator economy educators, they always talk about how people perceive them as the money guys, because there'll be some people who only clip out when they talk about money, and then audience will see that and just think, once again, they're the money guys, when in reality that's maybe 10% of an entire conversation. Additionally, Hassan, who's a political commentator, will often once again be clipped out of context and poised as some Arab terrorist, when really he's a progressive who wants better for society and everyone who lives within it. But it's very easy to clip certain moments and portray people in a specific way. But you have to let go of it and hope that once people see enough, they can judge right from wrong, or just not care if they don't know you. Because if they have a perception of you, you have no contact with them. That's a them problem. Tom Scott a little while ago put out a video discussing the maybe justified stranglehold that some video game companies hold over their content, that most don't care. A lot are happy for people to play their games, stream it, put videos out there. But there are sometimes some genuine reasons to hold on to that. Because if you've got a sandbox game like Minecraft, people are completely and utterly making it however they wish, and that then might entice you to play the game yourself. But if it is much more of a story and much more of a narrative video game, where watching someone else play it reveals the entire story around it, then you're like, cool, I got the gist, I never need to touch it again, which obviously would hurt their bottom line. And you can understand why they wouldn't want that, even if in some cases it's beneficial to have lots of people playing it promoting your game. A lot of actors and politicians will try and hold on to their image as tightly as possible. Sometimes justified, sometimes just a bit rude. I've worked with politicians before who have shouted at me because I've taken a photo of them while I dared show alcohol in their hand. Even though I wasn't actually doing it, they were just holding it in front of them. It's like, if you don't want to be photographed with alcohol in your hand, don't have alcohol in your hand. And then a lot of actors will try and control their image as well, which I think is a little more justified. Because if you're trying to be hired for certain roles, sometimes you need to be perceived in different ways. Like I've heard Will Smith talk about how one of the reasons he didn't want to do Matrix is because he didn't want to be known as like the alien guy. Like, fair enough. If an audience only starts seeing you in one specific way, then it's a lot harder to break out of that. And it's why you'll see a lot of Disney stars have to do something drastic as soon as they break out of that system, so people stop viewing them as children and as actual adults as they are. I remember hearing in an episode, like, Adam Savage explaining to Grant Imahara when he joined Mythbusters that, like, the one thing you lose in going to TV is your dignity. You can't hold on to that anymore because you will look stupid. And you have people now like KSI joining Britain's Got Talent. If you imagine any of those other traditional celebrities having done the things that he's done, made the videos that he's made, there is no chance they would still have their career and remain where they are. Not that KSI has done anything massively terrible, but he definitely hasn't always shown himself in the most polished professional light, which is the reason he's gotten big in the first place. But the point remains, he has the least polished image out of any of those celebrities, and yet he's still there. And that it doesn't matter too much as long as you're not doing anything actually nefarious. What the why is my no? But often being there is no real such thing as soft power, only hard power, largely in the geopolitical sense, but more in the interpersonal sense, then soft power can come into play. And that you can't hold onto your image as strongly as maybe you once could. But then that should also be taken advantage of. Find ways to put moments out there that then the community can run with and promote themselves. And that even though it won't always be pretty, you just have to let go and trust that things are going to largely move in the right direction as long as you make the right plays and put the right sort of material out there. And this can apply to if you're a creator, a business, or a government, and anything in between. And if you want to hear any more thoughts, I've got the perfect playlist for you right here. Have you clicked it yet?